Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the social media panel, the first social media panel of Digital Marketing Scotland. Thank you for joining us. We have three fantastic guests with us today. I'm going to allow everybody to introduce themselves. First of all, I am the host, and I will also be joining in. My name is Mike McGrail. I am head of content at a business called Weems Family Spirits. We produce a number of whiskey and gin brands from here in Scotland. And we are a small team, and I basically come up with the content and social media strategy, but I also produce a lot of video and photography myself. So that is me. I've been working with social media since around 2007. I had clients on MySpace and Bebo, so it's been a long time. Very interesting ride. Anyway, that's enough about me. I'm just going to pass to Simon, who can introduce himself.
Hi guys, great to be here, and thanks Mike for hosting this. I'm Simon. I'm a partner and chief strategy officer, which doesn't mean anything really, but it's a title. And I work for an agency, a Facebook-focused agency called Engager. We are based here in Stockholm. We also have offices in Copenhagen and Berlin, and we are around 80 people, so we are fairly big, and mostly focusing on performance, but also content, of course. And I do, besides that, I really enjoy doing what we do now, panelist work and keynotes and so forth. And looking forward to passing on to Italy.
Hi, I'm Veronica Gentili. I come from Italy, and I am a Facebook marketing consultant with more than 9 years of experience in this field. I also work for Espresso and Onsite as an expert. I wrote four books about social media marketing, and I'm very happy to be here today with you.
So, hi, it's my turn now, again from Italy. So apparently here we are two from Italy. I'm Tiziana Tini, a digital consultant and professor in different universities in Europe. I worked in the fashion industry, especially luxury industry, for more than 12 years. And then now I've started more than now, since 4 years to be a consultant. And I've worked with social media. I mean, I'm supposed to be what is so-called late millennial. So I've started working with social media since the beginning, when everything was free, free from ads, free from brands. It sounds incredible, but luckily for us, there is advertisement and brands nowadays, because those brands and those ads allows us to be here and talking about possibilities and strategies from brands to attract maybe and engage with customers, and clients and public, and that's me.
Great. Well, thank you so much for the introductions. I think that a good place to start is, we're in 2021. We've had the most challenging last 12 months of our lives, certainly, and maybe many generations. Marketing has changed in that time. Social media has changed in that time. What do we think the biggest challenges we're facing right now as digital marketers are for the rest of this year? And what are the big changes that are coming that we really need to start to address? Let's start with Veronica on that one, please.
I think one of the biggest issues right now is about data. As you know, with Apple started to stop apps from gathering data. With you have to opt in basically to have apps deliver data to us, and it's going to be very difficult to have data and to retarget people. As you know, Facebook started to help us with conversion API and aggregated event measurement. But right now, a lot of browsers are stopping using third-party cookies. And so we are facing a big challenge. We have been used to analyze granular data. We had audience insights, Facebook analytics. We had a lot of data we could analyze. And right now, everything is going to change because people is caring more and more about their privacy, and brands are caring more and more about users' privacy. And I think this is the biggest challenge, how to keep delivering good results with less data, how to retarget people, how to reach our customers, because we know some of the best campaigns are based on well-known people, custom audiences, people who already know our brands, and now it's going to be tough. So how we are going to manage this challenge, how we are going to bring out good performances with this issue.
The data question in iOS 14 is a big issue. Simon, how are you trying to prepare your clients for this change within the agency?
I think there are two or maybe even three phases in the preparation. It's first, of course, the information phase of what is going on, and also then the technical aspect. But what is, I think, most important is what's going to come, because no one knows what's going to come. This is unprecedented. So you will have to infuse within our clients, but also in our organization, a kind of experimental mode. Like we together need to find out what the right solutions are, and also convince our clients that the metrics that we used to use for e-commerce, for example, or for any kind of conversion, those we might need to reevaluate and find other metrics a bit earlier, maybe in the customer journey. So there is that changes the strategy, and it changes the ways of working. So it's I would say a massive and ongoing preparation and change. And information, I would say, is key in our case, and also continuously information, because because it is launched now, iOS 14.5. Doesn't mean it's the end of it. It's the beginning, like Churchill said, or someone else said. Yeah, so that is my very vague but also honest answer.
Yeah, we never really know what's coming and how these things are going to change. So I think you're right. It's about allowing our teams or encouraging our clients to almost have this mentality of we need to try things and see what's going to work. Tiziana, you work in fashion and consultancy in the kind of luxury world, which has always been quite difficult with social media to make sure you've got the right balance of not going too far. How do you think these changes are going to affect the high ticket items of luxury fashion?
Let's say that when we're talking about luxury, there are different, of course, kind of companies. So from high jewelry to high fashion, hard luxury. Anyway, speaking generally, let's say that, as you already pointed out, since social media came out, we have faced so many changes all along the path. And I still remember, okay, nowadays we have the, let's say the problem of third-party data that will be blocked very, very soon. And so we will need to work with the first-party data only. And also referring to cookies, they will last only 1 week, the majority of them. And so this is a major point, because nowadays there are cookies that might last even 1 year. So that allows brands from luxury to retarget, for those who are able to. Let's also say that for those that wants to, but allow them really to target the correct customer and to show them the correct product, which is fundamental, especially in luxury, because we're not talking about a T-shirt of $10 or 10 euro. We're talking about possibly a sweatshirt in cashmere that might cost around 2,000 euro. So that's the importance of using correctly the data. We need, it will sound very generic, but we need to adapt and to try, as you said. I remember when GDPR was introduced, and for the first month, I still remember like all the emails, and I guess you probably remember all the emails we received from newsletter we signed saying, oh, please say yes that you're still interested in receiving our email, please, and it was like a wave. If we related that to the social media, we might remember when at a certain moment there was Instagram and everybody was saying, please double tap here and say that you want to receive notification from me. Oh my, there was I've never seen so many influencers and brands being worried about something that basically really didn't change so dramatically, that everyone was like, please double tap here, select that you want to receive our notification. So again, I mean, we will need to see. There will be a solution, or we will find a solution, the perfect way to still interact and engage with the customer using their data. But starting to stress incredibly right now, I mean, unfortunately, we're not in the head of Mark Zuckerberg, and we don't know really how the things will work. We still don't know how the algorithm work. I'm thinking right now, for instance, and then I will close my intervention, TikTok. If you have tried TikTok, it's so addictive. And even compared to Instagram Reels, I mean, there are so many changes. So the best is, let's work on the content first. I'm sorry, but let's work on the content. And especially in the luxury field, let's try to make interesting content for each platform instead of copy and pasting the same campaign everywhere. Because then I guess maybe you have some experience. You have your clients complaining that a specific campaign didn't work. Have you checked also the content that you were sharing? Because if not, what are we talking about? I mean, everything to me starts from the creative idea and then combining the idea with the powerful use of data.
It's really a key point that ultimately, quite often, we can spend so much time creating great content, and then too many brands will take that one video and try to apply it to every social media platform, every digital outlet, and it just doesn't work. Sometimes you see a great example is a paid promotion on an Instagram story, and they haven't even made a proper Instagram piece of content, and it's all shrunk down. And if it's the first time I see that brand, I go, oh, no way, I'm not interested. Now, maybe that's just with my marketing head on. Maybe I'm being unfair, but people know what experience they want when they're swiping through. And, and it's that thing of, if we can't stand out in that feed, then forget about it. It would be good to chat a bit more about content and organic social media. So if we kind of park the data-driven, the paid piece of it right now, with everything that's happened in the last year to the world, what do we think the big opportunities are with content, or how do we think we might have to change the way we speak to people? Who wants to jump in on that one?
If I can speak at first, right now it's all about thumb stopping, because there are a lot of content on the outside and into the social media, and people is bombed by content every single day. So it's all about thumb stopping. Nowadays, we keep talking about the importance of videos, but the point is, as you said before, how many are doing the right video for social media? Videos for social media are not right like as any other for kind of advertising. They are totally different. They have to be smart and short and squared and optimized for mobile, as everyone is doing social media from mobile. They have to be totally different. 85% of people are watching video with sound off on Facebook. So I saw a lot of brands, also big brand, also luxury brand, spending thousands and thousands of dollars or of euros promoting content and videos that weren't optimized for social media, promoting stories that weren't stories. Right now, we have a lot of interactive tools for stories. We are going to have audio interactive tools, as Mark Zuckerberg stated a few days ago. And sometimes we think that traditional advertising could be translated to social media, but it doesn't work because it's a different media. We are talking about people that don't want to think. Don't make me think is the first statement I would say to explain what's the mood of social media people. So the point is, are your content really relevant to your audience? And your audience is a target persona. It's not just everyone. We are talking about personas. Not everybody is doing that. There are a lot of brands that still think in terms of segments, and it doesn't work anymore. You need to talk to that precise people, to their needs, to their desires. And so this is the point. We need to develop good content, but at the same time, it has to be optimized for social media and developed for social media, not just translated into social media.
Great. Yeah. Simon, anything to add there?
Yes, I think it's, we're not going to talk about data anymore, but I think it's a nice parallel between the data discussion and the content discussion, because it comes down to having the knowledge and the capabilities and the understanding for the platform and what actually makes a difference. Because you can have a huge advertising budget, but if you don't make the right content, also adapt the content, then yeah, it's not going to fly. So I think this is going to be a trend that's is going to keep on evolving, that the ones that do understand the platforms and also understand the users, of course, and how to utilize the platform, they will prosper. And that goes for content and also for data. And then, of course, in the best of worlds, you mix these. And I think today it's I mean, since 10 years, we've said that relevant content is the best content. And then the question is, what is relevant content? And that is something I think is changing faster and faster, because our behaviors are changing due to the pandemic. It's been accelerating and it's been polarized because we do different things in different countries. So I think it's even more challenging to find that relevant content, but also even more important. So yeah, my summary and conclusion of this is that if you have a good understanding of this and you have the capability to do it, then you can succeed. If not, try to get those capabilities and also the performance opportunities. End of talk.
Thank you. I dropped out there. I don't know if everybody did. Was it okay?
Yeah, I did okay.
That was just my broadband. I'm sure you said some fantastic things, but I couldn't hear. Thanks for that, Simon.
I'll send you a recording afterwards.
Thank you. I noticed that the audience has significantly dropped there, so I think we maybe did have some sort of outage, but we've gone from another back. They're back. Good. Okay. Thank you. So, Tiziana, is there anything that Simon said that you would like to follow up on or add to this part of the discussion? No.
I don't know if it's okay. Hi again. There was a problem with the connection, maybe.
Now it's fine.
Okay.
We are good now. Let's go.
I didn't hear your question. I'm sorry, Mike. If you can repeat. Yeah,
no problem. Based on what Simon had said, was there anything you wanted to elaborate on or add?
I think that all my colleagues here have pointed out interesting elements, pushing it in the, let's say, the fight in between content and data, if there is really a fight, and the importance of delivering the good content. Now, if I have to refer to your question about the last year, I mean, really a difficult year for many. Of course, regarding social media, what I have noticed is the different approaches for, I'm talking about luxury brands, each luxury brand or companies, they have expressed it through their social media. I mean, no one was prepared to that. No one as a person, and no one, and no brands were ready to experience the pandemic. Few of them, I found that it was very weird to see few of the luxury brands acting for weeks like if nothing was happening. And really, I'm not joking. Like, I still remember some brands posting contents about the spring or the new collection while the pandemic was spreading. And it was like, okay, but I mean, yes, we are coming to social media to have fun, because to entertain ourselves with kittens video, with babies that are falling down without hurting themselves. Okay, but I mean, you're missing a point. So regarding what you said, I think that some of those brands if the customers, you said yes, as a persona, few of those brands, they have lost my interest and my willing to buy them, because no, I will not and I will not forget, and I will not forgive, and not because I want to say, you should be, you should show mercy. No mercy for those brands that were just pushing their collection, or they were just pretending that everything was fine. Nope. No, not at all. And I was really impressed. Now, don't let me say the name, please, but I was impressed by some of them. I can mention some good examples. For instance, Louis Vuitton was the first brand that started showing empathy, at least at the beginning, empathy, when COVID-19 was something like just related to China. It seemed like a Chinese virus, just there, just in Wuhan. And they posted on WeChat a first message, very perfectly handled. It was just, imagine like a text message with the background orange, and the text in Chinese was saying more or less something like, we will come back to travel again all together, because travel is an endless, life is an endless journey. Something that was wishing to the Chinese population at that time, because it was just there, like, you will recover. And from the other end, they were super smart, because they were linking the idea of travel. And I mean, Louis Vuitton is a maletier, it started selling luggages. So the core of their business linked in this pure and simple message showing empathy. And I was really saying, oh, bene, bravi, very good. And then, of course, when the pandemic started to be a pandemic and not just a flu from a country, they were among the first brands in really showing their sensitiveness to the topic. Another one was Bulgari, but Jean-Christophe Babin, which is a CEO, I mean, since he joined that company, he made such a fantastic work, and I invite you everyone to see what they are doing in terms really of social media, but of social and of media combined, not just promotion. So, for instance, Bulgari, here I am. Whenever I will be able to buy some fantastic piece of jewelry, I will be one of your customers.
Yeah, it's a great point that the content and the communication that comes from a brand via social media can so quickly make us not want to be a customer, or want to be a customer forevermore. You know, building that empathy, that understanding, and that kind of affinity. If you are in the audience and watching this, please do use the Q&A function you can see on your screen if you do have any questions for the panel, and I will make sure to answer those before we finish up. If I'm a social media manager or a social media strategist, either in an agency and I might need to talk to my clients, or within a brand, or in-house, what should I be thinking about beyond Facebook and Instagram? What platforms are something that should be in consideration right now? Let's go to Simon for that one.
Yeah, that is a valid and a good question. And I'd say it always depends, of course, on the client. Boring answer, but it depends on the answer, on the client. But the company I represent at the moment, from BMW to people selling stationaries. So it's a wide range, and we see that in many cases, Pinterest they have developed their platform. They've done a great job. They missed the growth targets yesterday in the presentation they had, but Pinterest as a tool is developing much more into something more conversion driven, and they're covering more parts of the customer funnel, and it's image based as well now. So if you have anything that you can present in a nice way, then Pinterest is interesting, I'd say. We're also collaborating with TikTok, because it's an interesting platform, but they are, like Facebook was 10 years ago, both in terms of ad experience, but also opportunities. It actually reminds me very much about Snapchat, maybe 5 years ago. And so, it's fun to be on, but the results, it's hard to predict. It's more of a fun thing to do, I'd say. Maybe in a year or two it would be better, but I think it's good to be present just out of a learning perspective. So yeah, those two are where we see in social. We have, at least in I represent Scandinavia and Germany. That's where we see the biggest interest, and also where, looking maybe 2-3 years ahead, I think those platforms will still be there and make a difference. Because as we said prior to, we had a bit of a chat here prior to we kicked off, and Facebook, for example, gathers everything on the platform. So the competition, it's going to be really tricky to have a new player entering the market and compete with them. So I think the established ones will be here. TikTok, unique example, I'd say. But looking into the growth rate and their ambitions, interesting to follow. But Pinterest, I would say it's interesting to try to join and try to learn more about the different way of working, of course. And their ads manager is also not what Facebook is, but at least they have one, which is a good thing. So yeah, that would be my recommendations to explore. Because if you have worked with Facebook or Instagram, you have such a advantage, because then you can move into these platforms pretty straight away, and just they won't be as good, but you can manage them pretty easily.
Yeah, great. I mean, Pinterest is one that people forget about quite often. And the thing I love about Pinterest is that people go there quite often to solve their problems. So somebody might be arranging their wedding, and they need the clothes, they need the drinks, they need the favors, they need the invites, and then all of a sudden, boom, Pinterest is there. And one of the best things we can do as marketers is help people solve their problems. So I love Pinterest, and their ad model is pretty slick now. And like you say, you can get some really nice results without spending too much.
Veronica, one thing, sorry, I just want to add one thing which I found very interesting with TikTok, Pinterest, that many forget, is that there are people, they pin their future intentions, not what they did historically. They talk about what they want to do in the future. So if you look at Pinterest's own trend forecasts and so forth, they're usually very accurate, because they know exactly what people have pinned and what they're interested in. And that is something that brands can utilize, because that's on a global scale, and it's real data. So that is my hack of the day to you guys listening.
That's fantastic. That intent thing that we always want as marketers, we want to know the intent of the consumer. That's brilliant. And Veronica, if a client of yours, a Facebook client, comes to you and says, Veronica, tomorrow we need to launch on TikTok, what are you going to say to them?
I would ask why you want to do that. Is it because your child told you that it's cool and you have to be there? Because sometimes this happens also with big brands, and it's awful. Or is it because it's a strategical stuff? Because the point is that, in my philosophy, you do not have to be everywhere. You have to be in a good manner where it's strategical. Is it your audience there? Have you got enough resources? With resources, I mean economic resources, human resources, because you start opening a TikTok profile, okay? But you may know that you're going to need a lot of content, and not just pictures or advertising videos. It's about challenges. It's about having something that really engage people. It's not just, okay, I have a bunch of video in my I got a lot of video in my past, and so I put them there once per week. It doesn't work like that. So I would ask him, why you want to be there? And if you have enough content, if you have enough money and resources to be there, if you have the right main goal, why you want to be there? You want to make a new audience be aware of your products. You want to reach Generation Z that is located there, and you want to engage them. What's your main goal with that? Yeah, and if we find that you have a good reason to do that, okay, let's move there. But nowadays there are a lot of brands that have left profiles on Twitter, for instance. There are brands that are not tweeting for years, and they are left there. Or TikTok profiles with 10 followers and 2 videos. is not a good image of your brands. Let's talk about brand identity. Let's talk about how you want to be perceived by your target persona. So my philosophy is less is more. Be where your audience is, where your audience is located, and be where you can add value, not just talk about you.
Yeah, absolutely love that. There has to be a strategic reason, right? And if there's not, then don't just do it because the buzz and the hype is all around TikTok. It just, I have this expression that I use. It sometimes can be like dads trying to dance at the nightclub. You know, it's like the 45-year-old dad turns up at the cool nightclub in town and just looks so out of place. And that's what you can be if you're a brand.
Yeah.
Are you talking about yourself, Mike?
Yes, absolutely. Unfortunately, as a dad of 3, I now am that guy. Simon,
I just quickly want to comment on Veronica, because I think you said something very interesting about the purpose is one, but also asking the client, like, do you have resources to create the videos? Like, do you have enough people doing that? Because it's easy to think that you can just put up a new account, but it's going to be good. It takes a lot of time, and so it's a bigger decision. And then yes, saying I'm going to have an account. It is I'm going to allocate money, I'm going to allocate time, and so forth. And if you ask that question, then a lot of brands, they take a step back because they're not ready to make the commitment.
Yeah, and also if I can add something, it needs creative. It's not just putting a video with someone dancing with your clothes, the brand clothes. You have to be creative. You have to share a story with your videos. You need to follow the trend. It's not that easy. You need to be there and see what's trending, and now you can engage people based on that. So it takes people, it takes creative, a different form of creative that we saw in Facebook and Instagram. We are start seeing that in Reels, but they're not that used as TikTok. So it takes a lot to be on this new platform, and we need to think about, does it worth it?
Reels are interesting. You know, the Instagram algorithm still upgrades them. But one thing that they have said now is that, because you'll see quite a lot of brands just taking the TikTok and putting it on Reels, and it still has the TikTok logo, and now the algorithm is downgrading it if it's got the TikTok little changes. And Tiziana, I wanted to ask you about influencers. Do you think that influencers are a good way to actually enter a new platform like TikTok? Because I know in fashion, influencer marketing is huge.
Let's say it seems a simple question, because the first reaction might be, yes, of course you need influencers, but then you read articles saying, oh, influencer era has finished, now we are talking about something else. So it is interesting to see first of all the evolution of the word influencers. Before they were blogger, then they became influencers. Nowadays, they want to be called as content creator. So even themselves, or even before a content creator, they were entrepreneur, and now content creator. So that's one point. Is it fundamental to work with them? Let me say it depends, but yes, it's there are no doubts that they are working in all the markets. So from China to where we call them KOL, key opinion leader, to Europe. So as a brand, it is important to work with them, all the brands. It is last news of what? The beginning of this week that BTS, maybe you know, maybe you don't, it's like the Beatles of today, let's say. Mamma mia, now maybe someone will comment. They are a K-pop band, all made of guys. They have been appointed out as ambassador from LVMH, Louis Vuitton ONC, so the whole group. Are they considered influencers or are they celebrities? They are both, because they are able to influence wherever they touch. It becomes gold. So maybe I will not have the money to hire such a great worldwide influencers or celebrities, but there are still micro-influencer, nano-influencers, possible even my uncle can be an influencer for a very limited number of people, but still she might be a nano-influencer for a specific topic. So yes, brands need them, yes, but it's not just a relation of I'm gonna pay you that, or I'm gonna gifting you this and you will talk about that. I really love the fact that they need to be creative. They need to create something with the brand. And in that sense, TikTok, which by the way was the third most researched keyword on YouTube in 2020, the third. So it means also the interest, you turn on YouTube saying how to do this, how it works, that, how to make this or that on TikTok. So imagine the power of TikTok. So especially in TikTok, if you don't have the money or if you don't have the budget to start another platform where to create content, so why don't you work just with influencers? There are brands like Crocs, the clogs, the plastic one. Now, everyone is talking about that after the Oscars night, where a very famous musician wore in a costume, black costume, golden Crocs. Yeah, on the red carpet, it was fantastic. I mean, they do not have any TikTok account, but they are working with creators. They have effects and filters. So even without an account, they are still in trend on TikTok. I don't know if it's a question of money. I have no idea. I'm not working with them. But this can be an opportunity. So you don't want to enter, you don't want to start your own profile because then you will have, I don't know, 10,000 followers there, while on Instagram you have millions. Okay, so work with influencers, create something with TikTok creators. Give to them the possibility to express themselves and to involve the community, because this is TikTok. Express and involve the community. Instagram is not about challenges or really involving the community as it is TikTok nowadays. So this can be a good way to start to work with influencers, but yes, influencers are still here to stay, despite you might love them or not. It is important, maybe I don't know, maybe Simon, or maybe also you, Mike, you can say how really you suggest to your clients to develop a relationship with the influencer, but it's not just a question of I'm paying you that, you will post this and you will mention that and you will do a story saying blah 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 blah, I like it, and swipe up. No, please, no, it's not like this.
Yeah, I mean, we need influencers for our brands, and we quite often decide to work with micro influencers, and we bring them in really early into the process. So some of these products here we just launched last year, and we had the influencers in mind that we wanted to work with as part of the design process, and we brought them in, and they had a input into the product design and how we would market it. And then when we're ready to go, they feel like a part of it. They feel real empathy with us, and they just go for it. And we let them go. We have some loose creative guidelines, and then we just say go. And it's worked fantastically for us. It has sold whiskey, but it's also just that access to we know that their audiences are directly aligned with who we're trying to speak to. And it just works absolutely wonderful. We don't really pay. We don't pay fees. We just make people feel like we really value them as creators, and that's huge, I think.
I think you're touching upon something really. Both of you are touching upon something crucial when it comes to influencers. You need to create a kind of credibility. I mean, that it actually feels real, because otherwise, as you had many good examples, Tiziana, people don't really trust when someone just say, okay, I like it, buy it, then yeah, no one cares. But we've seen the same in Scandinavia with different, not whiskey, but with clothing and with kind of everything, that influencers are brought in very early, and then they are very much behind it, of course, and then they like it, so they talk about it in a positive way, and it feels genuine. And I think that kind of like transparency and genuinity you need to have to like get across the screen that you can't do with a normal ad. So yeah, that is the challenge, but also the opportunity. But it, as you described, Mike, it takes a lot of time, and that is my experience as well. I mean, because you work with people, and people are strange. Look at us. So and that is, you need to manage and you need to administrate. So it's time consuming. Yes, as we talked about going into TikTok or something else, it's really time consuming. But it has an upside, of course. But it's a totally new line of business, I'd say, compared to what many are used to within paid advertising.
Absolutely. Okay, we have 5 minutes left. I do have a question from the audience, from Lindsay. Thanks for that. Basically, what would your platform suggestion be for a company who's just started to run paid ads and thinking here about iOS and the Facebook changes? Should a business with a relatively new profile even start putting money into Facebook ads, or should they look elsewhere straight away? So forget Facebook and go somewhere else. What do you think, Veronica?
As stated before, you should think in terms of audience and budget. At this time, Facebook is the oldest and the most complex, and at the same time, I think is one of the best platforms we can use. You can run retargeting campaign, lead ads campaign. There are a lot of formats. On the other side, I tested TikTok ads too, and it's quite cool. But the point is your audience on that platform? How long each day? How much it's using that platform? Is that format the right one for you? Remember, you should create native content. So, okay, it's an advertising, but at the same time, it has to look like a TikTok native content. So you need a good creative. You need to set up a video. TikTok has a lot of tools to help you with that, but it needs time and it needs creative to do that. At the same time, if you are running a business into the business-to-business industry, you may take into consideration LinkedIn ads. But it comes another thing, that sometimes LinkedIn ads are much more expensive than Facebook ads. And it's all about results. If you want to make leads and you're looking for senior manager into the financial field, maybe you should consider LinkedIn ads. If you're looking for Generation Z audience, maybe you should think about Snapchat or TikTok. But if you want to reach women aged from 35 to 44 interested in fitness, what about Facebook, Instagram? And at the same time, it could be cool to test Pinterest. So again, it depends. That's the only question. But I would consider the first time Facebook and Instagram, just because the audience is bigger, the system is older, and it offers you much more opportunities. So I would start with that.
Great, thank you. Okay, we have 2 minutes left. I would like everybody to know how they can connect with you guys and follow up with you guys. Giovanni, you've asked a great question. I don't have time to cover it right now. It was for Tiziana. I would suggest that you connect with her. But Simon, what's the best place for people to reach out to you?
LinkedIn is awesome. Or you can come to my home apartment where I live. You spend a lot of time there. But LinkedIn for digital connections. Yeah, just tap my name. There's not many of us. I'm happy to connect and happy to just chat, continue to chat.
Great, thank you, Simon. And Tiziana, the best place to reach you, I'm thinking, might be LinkedIn as well. Yeah,
it is.
It is, yeah. If you search for Tiziana on LinkedIn, you will be able to find her. And follow up with that question, please, Giovanni, sorry. And for you, Veronica?
Oh, LinkedIn, of course, is the best for networking and connections. LinkedIn, I think, is the best platform for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, same for me. Mike McGrail on LinkedIn, you will find me. Thanks so much to our fantastic panel, and thanks to the 100 people who have been here.
Can I say just one thing? Because before I freeze, ciao everyone. For me, it's also LinkedIn, Tiziana Tini like Turin, Italy, Naples, and Italy. Anyway, yeah, I know. And I've seen a question from Giovanni Manfredini. I'm sorry, Giovanni, you can contact me